Time now to turn to today's business news, and Stephen Carroll joins us for that. Stephen, starting with the motor industry, and the latest figures show how the sector has been hit by the pandemic.
That's right, new car registrations across the European Union fell by almost a quarter in 2020. That's according to new figures from the European Automobiles Manufacturer Association. It's the biggest yearly drop in demand since records began. Spain saw the worst plunge, where sales were down by almost a third, followed by Italy and France. The worst of the slump was in April of last year, when sales were down by 76%. Despite a recovery later in the year, sales in December were still 3% lower than the previous year.
Well, meanwhile, here in France, the country's busiest airport was a lot quieter last year, Stephen.
That's right, the number of passengers travelling through Paris' Charles de Gaulle Airport was down by 70% in 2020. Just over 22 million passengers used the airport last year. All international travel saw sharp falls, with the biggest drop was in traffic from North America, which is down by 80%. Despite that plunge in passenger numbers, Charles de Gaulle Airport did overtake London's Heathrow to become Europe's busiest airport in 2020.
Now, staying here in France, people, and I have to say I am among them, still working out how to adapt shopping habits to that new 6 p.m. curfew. It is early.
Yeah, and of course Monday was the first working day that people had to try and balance getting home by 6 p.m. with work and everything else. All shops now have to close at 6 p.m. in France, a move which retail groups have warned risks 30% of revenues for shops. A big shift for consumers too, as Catherine Viette now reports.
Gare Saint-Lazare, anxious commuters are running for the train home, hoping to beat the new 6 p.m. curfew. But this train has been cancelled, which means its passengers won't make it home in time.
Je suis parti 1 heure plus tôt du travail pour espérer rentrer à peu près dans les temps, mais là, compte tenu de l'horaire, je serai de toute façon en dehors des clous sans autorisation.
A rush of customers, too, ahead of closing time at this bakery in the Paris suburbs.
Il y a trop de monde à Intermarché, il y a trop de monde à la pharmacie et trop de monde à la boulangerie.
C'est un peu la course sec, vous avez vu, hein. Je fais les courses, pack d'eau et le pain, je suis obligé de le faire avant 18h, malgré le travail et on est obligé de s'adapter.
In Bordeaux, as stores shut an hour earlier, the majority of customers are now finishing their errands at 5 p.m. Many shopkeepers worry this will mean a big drop in sales.
C'est triste, ça coupe tout le commerce à partir de 17h, on va dire. Il n'y a plus personne à partir de 17h.
Some people are waiting till the last minute to head home.
On voulait rester, mais on est resté jusqu'à la fin, là. On se dépêche de rentrer.
Between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., anyone who breaks curfew without a valid reason risks a €135 fine.
Well, while restaurants here in France have been closed since October, dining out is resuming in Mexico City. The city relaxing some of its COVID-19 restrictions, allowing restaurants to seat customers on outdoor terraces at a maximum of 30% capacity. They also must stop serving at 6 p.m. This decision comes after protests from restaurateurs about being forced to close. Mexico City has been the epicenter of the country's virus outbreak. Hospitals there remain close to capacity. Nevertheless, the mayor says that this reopening is a positive move.
Lo importante es que abran al aire libre. Hay muchas fondas, taquerías, en fin, muchos restaurantes pequeños que tienen toda la posibilidad de abrir si lo hacen en la banqueta.
Look at what's happening on the markets for you next. European shares starting the day up. Mining companies leading the gains at the beginning of trading. Gains across London, Paris and Frankfurt there. Shares in the Swiss company Logitech up 8% after their latest results. Just one of those companies that's seen a benefit of people working from home, buying things like webcams to equip their home offices. Asian shares were boosted earlier by optimism over China's economy after its latest economic figures that were out on Monday. The Kospi in Seoul and the Hang Seng in Hong Kong both up by over 2%.
Finally, from you, Stephen, France's finance minister has again expressed his support for gender quotas in senior management roles.
Bruno Le Maire was speaking to a parliamentary committee about this issue on Monday. He said that companies should move faster to increase female representation and that the government planned to be more ambitious in achieving this through use of quotas. This would add to the current laws in France, which require publicly listed companies to have at least 40% female board members. Le Maire says that boards shouldn't be used as a shield to allow companies to have fewer women in senior roles elsewhere, though, where they currently just make up 17% of managers. Eve.
Stephen, thanks a lot for that business update.